having an elevated position in the playoff format, that means the later rounds. So these are great tests about the intensity that both of these teams from the East can bring to a contest.
And let's take a look at Boston's starting lineup. Pritchard and White at the 1 and the 2. The two Jays, Brown at the 3 and Tatum at the 4. And it's Porzingis in at the center, locking down the middle. Here's the Prophet, down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Daniels, on target from range.
Yeah, a complete offensive player. Daniels can set people up, and he can knock down shots.
Number 5.
Here's Pritchard. This one for 3. And it's Tatum missing. And we're about a minute into the first. Outside Porter. Okongwu against Porzingis. Down low. The Hawks need to get one up here. And here's Porter outside. And Pritchard pulls it down. And let's send it over to Allie LaForce.
I caught up with Quinn Snyder. The main topic of conversation, how they plan to guard Jason Tatum. We want to try to make Jason a jump shooter. Avoid fouling, don't let him go downhill. But JT will get his, so let's hope we limit him. Well, that's never easy to do, guys.
And Allie, thanks. It's his first trip to the line. That's good from White. And you look at the history of the Hawks. Brent, they've won one NBA championship. That was back in 1958.
Yeah, B.A., tough for people in Atlanta to even recognize that because the team wasn't there in 58. They were in St. Louis, and they were led by the great Bob Pettit, who was one of the first really impressive, agile big man of his era.
And it's Tatum with the ball for Boston. Last game matched up with the Thunder. Tough loss there.
Yeah, I think they'd like to forget that game. You usually want to find some teaching moments, but in this case, it might be best to just destroy the tape.
Yeah, and quick, like as quick as possible. That was a dismal showing, especially for them at the offensive end.
And he probably thought he was going to bury that one.
Now the Celtics on the move. Here's Pritchard. The 3. Drills it from deep.
He's consistent from out there, especially when you give him that kind of room.
Tatum against Porter. Pass to Young. Cash. Assisting on the play was Porter.
Young working hard on the defensive end that time.
Boston leading by 3. And Joe Mazzulla has called timeout. A moment to rest and confer on the game plan. And looking at Trae Young, Brent, his team's always finished in the top 10 in offensive rating.
Yeah, for Trae, those teams he's played on have normally been in the top 5, along with playing at a top 10 pace. So when he has the ball in his hands and he's coming at you, very difficult to stop. Young's so talented, you're basically guaranteed to have a good offensive team.
Here's Pritchard. Outside Tatum. Outside White. And the Celtics another 3.
Shooting 4 or 5 to start the game. That's got to be a feel good.
Hawks trail by 6. Here's the Prophet. 23 points his last outing. And here's Okongwu. Pass to Young. White with a steal. And here comes the break. And here's Brown for 3. The rebound by the Hawks. And this is their first time matched up with the Celtics this year.
Last year, this team got the better of them in the season series. So they're looking to correct that.
Now here's Porter. No points so far. Connects from downtown.
You feel like there's nowhere on the floor where you can really get away from Michael Porter Jr. 3 ball goes that time.
That one drops for him.
The defensive effort was lacking a bit, but hey, give him credit for finding a weakness there.
Just really smart basketball and exploiting whatever holes that he's seeing right now in the defensive squad.
And Atlanta with possession here. After the basket by Boston. On the wing, Daniels. Defended by Brown. 5 on the clock. Oh, deflected. And it goes out of bounds. That one off for Porzingis. All right, now that we have a second, let's take a look at which teams cashed in on the fast break last year. Atlanta, second.
You know, it really made for some exciting games the way this team ran the floor, always maintaining impressive energy in transition.
Just 3 to shoot. Young can't hit.
That's a decent look for him. He just couldn't convert.
Here's Pritchard. Gets the 3 to fall. Pritchard's got 6.
This defense is getting spaced out. 3 of the last 5 buckets have come from way beyond the arc.
The Prophet, the pass to Daniels. Picked up by Okongwu. Here's Daniels, defended by Brown. And he drives in. And the whistle blows as the basket counts. Chance at a 3-point opportunity here. 1 free throw coming up. And a look at how the offensive approach has been going so far for the Celtics.
Well, we're in the era of the 3-point basket. So if you want to win games in this league, you have to connect from deep. And they have been thus far.
So much good energy and flow tonight. Has really come out of great ball movement. Guys have been open, and as soon as they are, they get the ball.
Here's the Prophet. On the wing, Porter. From the arc. Knocks down the triple. Porter's got his second basket of the game.
Set him up. Porter's going to knock him down. He's a terrific shooter who can do some damage from anywhere.
And Joe Mazzulla has called timeout. He wants a few moments to regroup with his players. Here's Pritchard, guarded by Young. White can't hit. The Hawks trailing. Here's the Prophet. Pass to Porter. Here's the Prophet. Shot clock at 6. Okongwu. Ooh, can't tie it up as that one's no good. For Boston, they've got 6 of 10 attempts to fall. Tatum inside. Now White. Back to Tatum. Puts one up from 19. He's off on that one.
I saw a green light there, but he's not going to get away with that kind of lapse all that often here tonight.
Left side, Young. The shot is good, and this game is back to even.
And Trey doing a good job exploring, trying to find those soft spots in the defense.
Tatum with it. 32 points for him last game against Oklahoma City.
Let's us not forget about the work on the glass. His effort level was a 10 that night out of 10.
Now here's White. And the three-pointer goes. White's got 9. Here's Young. He picked up 27 points in their last win against Charlotte.
Terrific all-around effort. He did a great job of creating for himself and others.
Here's the Prophet. And that one is hammered home.
Just great offense. The screen freeing him up for slam.
Hey, without that screen, he doesn't get a clean look at the rim.
Yeah, why settle for the layup when you can attack the rim and rise up like that?
And the basket by Brown.
And we have seen Brown take more and more threes recently, becoming very confident in this shot.
Here's the Prophet. Boston pulls it in.
Despite the miss, those are the kind of looks coaches hope to create.
Here's Tatum. And he gets it to go off the front iron. And now a 6-point Celtic lead.
Getting out to a nice lead. Great flow and great execution.
Inside. Pass to the Prophet. Now here's Okongwu. Okongwu, a screen on Brown. Daniels, that one's true.
Oh, good shot from Daniels. He understands he needs to keep knocking these down for his team.
White drives in. And the shot is good on the assist by Tatum. He's got 11.
Now, what a great option he gives them on every possession.
And Quinn Snyder decides to call timeout. I think right now he must be looking at some adjustments. And so it's Young with it. He brings it up for the Atlanta Hawks. Trailing by 2. Now when this one's done, they'll be off to Miami, taking on the Heat. And that'll be their only game on the road before heading back home. We got Risache.
For the kid, go take an apology. End of the year, you got Fashion Week. Snuck in my hand. And a Billy at 580. Crazy.
From open up a 51.